Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more.
Hello, my name is Jeremy. I am 12 years old, and I've had a happy life, full of joy. However, there have been some dark events, and one has led me to say that my favorite poem is Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven.
Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here for evermore.
I used to have an uncle and aunt, and I truly loved them. I had been to their house in New York only 3 times, and I look forward to every visit. They live right by a lake, and I remember many happy memories there, skimming rocks and exploring the beach, looking for odd-colored stones. It was wonderful.
Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obsequious made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but, with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more.
One night, I received news that my uncle and aunt died. It was terrible hearing this. You don't really know death until you actually experience it. The funeral was solemn, and I cried throughout it. Death is not a thing a child should have to deal with. I kept on trying to convince myself that my uncle and aunt weren't dead, but it didn't work. Every night, I would wait to dream about them, to see them one last time.
Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore."
Well, one night, I did dream about my uncle and aunt. They came back, and I was overcome with joy. I danced with them in a wonderland filled with laughter. The memories of that happy dream shall be forever burned into my brain, and I will remember it all my life. However, at the end, they had to leave, and then I knew that they were going to go away forever, that I would see them nevermore. I felt terrible, and once again I was plunged in sadness.
"By that word, our sign of parting, bird or fiend," I shrieked, upstarting. "Get thee back into the tempest, and the night's plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token for what lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore."
One day, a few years later, I came across a poem titled The Raven. It instantly dispelled any lingering sadness. It seemed that Edgar Allan Poe had written this poem especially for me, and only me. It helped me come to terms with death, made me realize that death is a natural thing, not something to cry about. This poem is a special thing indeed, a security blanket for any child confronted with death.
And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted.